How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody having a good Phoenix Comicon so far? All right, I still got energy for these guys, right? Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna start naming off a couple of my favorite places in movies. Gotham City, you guys might have heard of that one. Island Nublar, there's a bunch of dinosaurs that run around on it. There's the planet Naboo, it's really, really pretty. And I will never get tired of like Matrix screensavers because I love that whole entire series. So what do all of these places have in common? Each and every one of them is like a highly memorable visual experience. And the two men next to me are responsible for bringing that from like the creative mind into life, into our lives. So if you would please join me in welcoming the man behind the Jurassic Park's T-Rex. He's an Arizona native right now, Mike Terzic, and a man of many talents. You may know him from making lots and lots of pretty things in Star Wars. Please welcome Fawn Davis. Fawn and Mike are here to share with you the secrets behind making movie magic. The format of our panel is probably just going to be more open discussion. Unless Mike or Fawn, if either one of you wanted to start out with saying anything.
Mike, why don't you tell people all the amazing movies you put on? Start with that.
It's been fun. This is my first con in more than I care to remember. And I'm just amazed that so many of these films are still being talked about by fans coming, oh, I've seen that 100 times, I've seen that 500 times. So I feel like pulling out my wallet and giving it back in change. Starting with, I guess, Day of the Dead is one of the third Romero trilogy of the Dead series that kind of got me started in special effects, and Evil Dead 2, Creepshow 2, and what else? Glory, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, Jurassic Park, of course, and a few others. But it's been very memorable for me to do this convention. Thank you, all for having me here. This trip down memory lane and digging through my photos and reliving some of these experiences. So I hope I can convey some of the fun that I had doing these films to you guys.
Yeah, your guys' enthusiasm with what we do actually keeps it much more fun for us, because sometimes when you're in the middle of making these things, it's easy to forget how cool your job is. So, my name is Fawn Davis. I've worked in the motion picture industry for about 25 years. I've worked on over 30 feature films. I did a lot of work with Industrial Light and Magic. A little different than Mike. This is great. We have both of us here because I'm actually from the miniature practical effects side. Also practical effects, but I did a lot of work in practical. Over the years, I've worked in more and more technology, and now I specialize in hybrid visual effects, which is a combination of both CG and practical effects. Also spent probably 10 years of my career at Disney as well. And now I actually just moved down to Los Angeles, and I'm a creative director at Steel Studios, which is another hybrid studio. So they are behind the Batman movies and a lot of the Christopher Nolan stuff. They've done some really amazing things, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from there. So there you have it.
And you're at the Stan Winston studio too, right?
Yeah, I'm also doing instruction. So I have my own educational DVDs out, and I've also joined the Stan Winston School instructor team, and also a co-host on one of their shows, just talking about all this great stuff that you love. So happy you guys are here.
So before we get things started, just want to point out we've got two slideshows going up here. Over here on Fawn's side is a display of some of the things that he's worked on, and the same with Mike over here. Some of the things that Mike's worked on. So if something catches your eye where you want to ask Fawn or Mike about it, how they went about creating an effect, or maybe the story behind it, feel free to jump in with that. And also, let's all take a moment to silence our cell phones. I'm pretty sure mine is, so that we don't disturb the flow of the conversation. Okay. Anybody want to open up with any questions about anything? Burning questions over here?
I'm always fascinated by the business aspect as well as the creative aspect. Well, do you hear about a project through some sort of movie website and then you submit bids, or do they contact you?
The nature of the business when I was in was generally you would go from shop to shop, effect shop to effect shop, working on a project. You would hear whispers about other projects coming down the pipe, and you go, oh, Jim Cameron's going to do The Abyss. Oh, I'd love to work on that. I wonder who's getting that. And you would stay with the shop generally until work was completed. Like when I was at Stan Winston's, he might hire me for like Terminator 2. He brought me back on for Terminator 2. I was previously working at Kevin Yeager's studio on Tales from the Crypt and shot a few other things. So I started back at Stan's on T2 and heard that Jurassic Park was, rumblings that Jurassic Park was going to start. And, I tell people, being completely mercenary, I decided I'm going to drop everything and go work on that, whoever gets it, no matter what. As fate had it, it came to our studio, so I kind of segued into that. We also worked on Batman Returns during the same time frame. So, I got a threefer at Stan's that term. And then when the work dries up, if he doesn't have more movies coming in, he would either try and find busy work for us to do until something else came, or he would just say, nothing's on the horizon, guys, see if you can find anything else till next time. So we would jump to another shop.
Yeah, for me, it was very similar to that when I was working on the model making side of things. So, you would jump from show to show. You might do several shows in a row with one company, and then there might be nothing, so you'd go off and do a commercial, or maybe some of your own personal projects, or whatever. He nailed it when he said mercenary, because that's pretty much what we are. Still to this day, even though I'm a creative director at New Deal Studios, I'm free to go off and work for other companies if a good project comes along. Because everyone in our industry understands that you need to make money, and you need to survive, and so how do you do that? You keep working. And there's no company that can promise you continuous work forever, or it's rare, I should say. There are a few companies like Pixar that actually keep their crews around for movie to movie. But even them, they have to lay off people between projects sometimes. So it's part of the business. You get really good at saving money. Or I know people who are very good at managing their credit cards more than saving money.
Question over here?
Yeah, what got you guys started in the first place? And I mean, like, with us coming here, there's a lot of people that just got started by making their own coffee. Just start off with something real simple. What did you guys start off with? Say, I'm pretty good at this, I'm gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna keep doing that.
I started making things out of cereal boxes when I was a kid. I was always bitten by the bug of just wanting to make things. And so that was just kind of my personality as I was growing up, So I always making model kits, and I was always building things with paper and Legos and whatever I can get my hands on, really, dirt. As I got older, I realized I needed to actually do something that pays, so I actually got into carpentry. And I was remodeling houses in San Francisco, and I discovered there were a number of film companies and set construction companies in San Francisco. So I actually just went and applied for all those places until one of them hired me. It was a big challenge to break in because the first thing they ask you for is a portfolio, and I didn't have one because I had never worked in the industry. So there's kind of a catch-22 when you're first starting. But once I got my first job, I just obsessively photographed everything and built a portfolio. And then you also, you guard your reputation, you work very hard, and word of mouth actually works really, really strongly for you as well. So that's kind of how, I just always knew I wanted to do it, and I chased it. So that's the way I got into it.
Yeah, I'm much the same way, only it was pipe cleaners with me. I started, I was inspired by King Kong when I was very young, about 6 years old. I first saw it, and knew it wasn't real, and had a desire to find out how they did that. Then there were really no books back then.